Okay, now in this video I'm going to show you a walkthrough of Facebook advertising, which is very easy, very simple and straightforward to set up, and you can just log into any Facebook account that you want here and create your new ad. And as I mentioned, what I'm going to show you here is actually how to use this for yourself. So it says here, choose a Facebook destination. Let me type that in real quick. I'll do www.attorneyinternetleads.com, assuming that was the domain I owned there. Okay, and what I'm going to show you here how to do is, like I mentioned in the last video, is how to actually use this to generate. Let's say you've had success for an attorney. You then put up a landing page that's specific for you targeting attorneys, and now you're saying, hey, you know what? I want to try to have some inbound calls coming to me instead of just doing only outbound prospecting. Of course, now you have to have a budget for this. If you don't have a budget, then just continue to do your outbound prospecting. But if you have a little bit of a budget and you want to give this a test, then you'd basically create your landing page, and you can go in here and set up these ads on Facebook, as I mentioned in a previous video where I explained why in this case it might be good to use Facebook advertising as your method. Okay, and now again, as I mentioned, what you're going to learn right now, I mean, it's pretty straightforward basic setup of a Facebook advertising campaign. So anytime you need to do Facebook advertising for any purpose in the future, you'll learn how to do it right here in this video. Very simple and straightforward. Like I said, I'll give you a couple tips that I've found along the way, as I've done quite a bit of Facebook advertising. And as I mentioned, for my clients, it's definitely one of the last things that I would do. And I just find that the quality of the leads is a lot lower than Google. But again, for this purpose of trying to target attorneys, because we know that they have the word attorney or lawyer or Esquire in their profile. So in this case, we would potentially test Facebook ads. And one thing to mention here that's really important is that you're obviously going to be split testing a lot, same way as with Google, right? With Google, you're split testing ads. With Facebook, you're going to split test ads. And again, it could be very, very common that you have one Facebook ad that gets a lot more clicks and gives you a much lower cost per click than your other Facebook ads. So same model in that perspective, where you are going to be testing multiple ads and finding what your winner is. Now, the difference here with Facebook ads is that you actually get to upload an image. So that's one of the biggest things that you're actually going to be testing is different images. In fact, that's going to be the biggest factor of people clicking on your ad, because it makes it stand out the most. So that's what people have found, that split testing the image is what's going to make the biggest difference. So try a few different images. So maybe again, create 3 different ads here on Facebook with 3 different images and see which one pulls the best. For the headline, again, matter of split testing different ads and seeing what the winner is. But let's say, for example, right, so using this model, following this model of, if I bought the domain, let's say Attorney Internet Leads, and I had success for an attorney in Las Vegas, and I said, okay, well, the next closest city in the state of Nevada is in Reno. So I know that people in Reno will probably realize that if I had success for an attorney in Las Vegas, which is a much, much bigger city than Reno, that I could probably have success for attorneys in Reno, right? So what I would probably do is, again, start small. I wouldn't recommend going after all attorneys all over the country from anywhere. I'd recommend starting in an area nearby you, or some, at least targeting maybe a city that is a major city near you, where there could be a lot of attorneys that have money, whatever the case may be. So let's say, again, in this case, like I said, I had success in Las Vegas for an attorney. I'm going to go up to Reno, and I'm going to say, write an ad, again, specifically, this is, again, remember, same kind of model too, as far as the ad writing, right? So if we're targeting attorneys in Reno, we probably want to have in the headline, Reno attorney leads, right? Or something to this effect, right? Like, best Reno attorney leads might be one headline that I test. Another one, another headline I might test in a different ad might be leads for Reno attorneys, right? Something like that. And then again, with the text, you're gonna split test. So use kind of the same basic ad writing formula that that I've been showing you for Google AdWords. Use the same basic formula for writing your ads here. But again, the main thing is going to be this image that you get to upload here. And so it'll show you a little preview of your ad with the image and all that. Now, a couple things. It used to be, a couple of years ago, a lot of people put out reports and things saying, oh yeah, we split tested different images, and we find that, showing an image of a woman you know, wearing how should I put this? Not much clothes is get you a very high click-through rate. Yeah, well, obviously. Okay, so but the problem is that Facebook doesn't allow that anymore. Okay, so you can't have any kind of images. You know, what I found is they disapprove a lot of ads. So I'm glad I remembered to mention that to you. Is don't get discouraged if your Facebook ad gets disapproved. You know, they might disapprove you. I've gotten disapproved because they thought that my picture wasn't relevant to what my ad was, when actually I thought it was actually pretty relevant. I can't remember exactly what the example was at this time, but I remember thinking like, what do they mean it's not relevant? How do they disapprove me for that? So you could get disapproved. So your picture, your image should be somewhat relevant to your ad. But it should also be something that stands up, so something that's maybe zoomed in. So again, just test a few different images, test a few different headlines, test a few different ads here, and yeah, same process. Always split test. Again, for the location, I would go to the city, and so instead of so I would do city Reno, Nevada. Okay. So yeah, now I'm just targeting, like it says, 182,000 people. For the age, and now remember, I'm targeting only now, this is a campaign I'm going to be targeting attorneys and lawyers and things like that, right? I've had success for attorneys. I set up my landing page. Now I'm ready to target them. So the age, I'm probably going to choose age, 30 and up, realistically, right? I don't really want, not a whole lot of 21-year-old attorneys, and I want to make sure that I'm not, getting people who liked an attorney's fan page or something like that, and then my ad shows up for them, something like that. So anyway, I know that my ideal age is going to be 30 and up, probably for an attorney at the very least. I mean, you might even want to say 30, 33 or something like that. And then as far as the precise interests here, okay, so this is where you're going to be typing in, and I never do broad categories like this, quite frankly. I never choose the broad categories. I always do precise interests. Again, I find that it's hard enough to get a high quality lead as it is on Facebook, so I don't want to give them a broad category to work with here. I want to have pretty specific interest, and this is the interest. Precise interest is really kind of like your keywords, but these are keywords that they might either have in their profile, or if they click the like button, so something like that, then it might appear for their interest. So let's say I do attorney. Okay, so they're attorneys in the United States. So this might be someone who liked some Facebook fan page of attorneys in the United States, right? Something like that, which probably they might be an attorney if they did that. Or in this case, this seems like a good one, right? So I'd pick this one. So look, as you type in the keyword, what's great about Facebook too is kind of like all your options here that get any kind of significant volume will actually just drop down for you. So what I would do here is, here you go. So attorney at law is definitely one. Then I'd type in attorney again, and I see here that just the word attorney by itself. Okay, I'll keep typing in it. So I type in attorney again. Attorneys in the district attorney, attorney general. No, I wouldn't do that. Attorney at law. Yes, I'd have that one. Let's see here. I just type in the word attorney again. Ace attorney, attorney general of Mexico. No. Associate attorney. No. I wouldn't pick any of these. And then attorney in the United States, I'd probably pick this one. So that's all that I would do for attorney. Then I would go and look for lawyer. Okay, so then there's a lot of people who have lawyer here. I'll press lawyer again. National Lawyers Guild. Lawyers of that. So again, this I got the major ones here already in my search. So lawyers in Poland, no. Lawyer referral service, probably not. Lawyers Without Borders. Yeah, so again, I think I pretty much got the major ones here for an attorney or lawyer. And again, you can always expand your campaign later, but you don't want to go too broad, especially with Facebook here. Like I wouldn't want to do lawyer referral service or volunteer, Lawyers Without Borders. I mean, maybe it is mostly lawyers that click on that, but I'd be afraid that there are a lot of people that are liking Lawyers Without Borders, like just normal people that say, oh, Lawyers Without Borders, they're doing something great, let's click like for them, and then all of a sudden our ad shows to those people who clicked like, right? So I like to stick to this, like attorney at law, attorney at law, lawyer, National Lawyers Guild, okay, and maybe this one. If anything, I would delete this one, attorneys in the United States, but I'd probably leave that in. So these seem kind of pretty specific, pretty niche. Now, unfortunately, it wouldn't target a very big audience in Reno, because Reno's a small city and there's not a ton of attorneys or people like this that have this in their profile, but it is something. So if you get some clicks, it would be better than nothing. Even if you only spend a few bucks a day, at least you know that they'd be pretty targeted leads. Okay, typically you'd want to have a much bigger audience than this, and if we were targeting let's say here, if I take out Reno, and instead if I target, well, let's say I targeted the entire state of Nevada. Oh, okay, I have it on city. So if I did state and I did Nevada, okay, then I'd have a bigger audience there. So you obviously want to get a bigger audience when you can. You might want to target, a state or whatever the case may be. But again, bottom line is this: is if people don't click on your ad, you don't get charged, right? So this would be a very small campaign, very targeted campaign. But again, and then as you kind of expand, if you wanted to, again, I wouldn't recommend starting out this big, but you could just do the entire country of the United States. Okay, now if we did the entire country, look at all these people that have this stuff in their age 33 and over, with all these that have all this stuff in their profile. So that's a much, much bigger audience there. So, but I would start again, like I said, start small and make sure you get results and scale up, right? Spend $50, spend $100 on Facebook ads, see what results you get, make sure you're getting results, and then scale up from there. Maybe, I've seen sometimes where you get results in one certain city and you don't get results in another city, right? So that's another thing that you might want to look into. So you test a certain city for a few days. If you don't get any results, maybe test another city that you were thinking of and see if you get results there. So this is really simple. Facebook ads, as you can see, is really, really simple to use. It's great that you can target people by age. You can't do that in Google, obviously. Google doesn't know how old someone is that is searching in the Google browser. But on Facebook, when you sign up for Facebook, they know how old you are because you enter your age in there. Facebook is also good if you want to only target women for a particular thing, or you want to only target men for a particular product or offering or service. But again, like I said, overall, I think the Facebook quality lead is much lower than Google. But there are some very cool targeting things here. These are things you can't do on Google. Choose men or women. Choose a certain age range that you want to target. Choose specifically people that have this stuff in their profile. So it's good to know about Facebook ads, and it's good to know that you want to use it, but I would just use it with caution. Start small, make sure you get results, and then scale up. I don't do any of this kind of stuff, the connections, the friends or connections. I don't do the broad categories. Literally, all I do is select my age, and if I want a gender, choose by gender. I choose my city, whatever I want here, and I usually split test a couple different ads. So after you hit save here on the bottom, then basically you're going to go and create another ad that's going to be very similar, and just going to have a different kind of image. And by the way, you can easily create similar ads. So once you create this one, you'll be able to easily create a similar ad to this one, and you won't have to go through every single thing step by step again. So as far as down here, I wouldn't touch any of these connections or friends of connections or anything of that stuff. For your budget, again, you could set it to whatever you want, $25, $50 a day. Your cost per click, they actually give you a suggested bid, which is cool. I would always stay to the mid to high range of their suggested bid. Or actually, different people have different opinions on that. I stay to the mid to high range of the bid just because I want my ads to get shown quite a bit. If you try to bid on the low end of their bid, then, not only are you not going to have a big target range if you're only targeting one city, but your ads might not even show all the time because you're bidding low. So I like to bid in the mid to high range of what they recommend, especially for this kind of a purpose. And I find that my ads get shown a lot more, and you could potentially even get a higher quality lead, is what I found. So you can bid low if you want and test it and try it out, but I'm just telling you what I do is I bid in the mid range here. So if they're suggesting that my bid would be $1.30 to $3.40, I'd probably put my bid somewhere around here at $2.50, let's say. Or if I wanted to get a lot of traffic right away real fast, I'd maybe set it to $3.40, exactly what they say here. So and that would be it. You can review your ad or just place the order here, and then you can create a similar ad once you finish this. Very simple, very straightforward. You can see it has its purpose, Facebook ads, but as I said, Google is number one. It's not even close as far as quality of lead and when performing for your clients. But for these purposes, having age, having gender, having these precise interests, that's pretty cool. So and your cost per click, as you can see, is typically much, much lower as well. But man, like I said, you could pay $20 a click on Google and $3 a click on Facebook, but typically I still find that you get more leads and higher quality leads from Google. Again, that's maybe a dramatic example. Maybe it's you spend $10 a click on Google and $2 or $3 on Facebook. But what I'm saying is, in that scenario, I typically find higher quality leads and more leads that I get from Google. So but I just wanted to show you this. It's very good for you to be familiar with this and see what purpose it's for. See what you can use this for. If anytime you have something where you want to target specific professions, specific age groups, things things like that, then Facebook ads should definitely be a consideration that you give a test to. And you split test the ads the same way. Remember, the number one thing to split test is the image, but you split test your headline and text ad as well. Test a few different ads, find your winner. Same way, you'll see which one gets the highest click-through rate, and you'll also see that Facebook rewards you as well. The highest click-through rate ad will have the lowest cost per click. So after a couple of days, you'll be able to pause your lowest performing ones and keep your highest performing ones. Same kind of strategy we've been using. So now you get to see what Facebook ads looks like, and just use it with caution, like I said, but it does definitely have its purpose. So now you'll know when you need to use that.